All right. We are live. So, hello, everyone. This is
Hello.
Candace. Yes, this is Candace on the Candy Shop. It's ladies' night tonight. And I hope you all got your drinks because it's about to get juicy tonight. So, I'm going to allow my guests to introduce themselves. First of all, we're starting with Art Trail. So, go ahead, Art Trail.
Oh, hi. So my name's Artrell. I'm a mom first, so that's the first thing I say when I introduce myself. I work in social media. So right now, of course, with everything going on with COVID, I'm at home, so just adjusting to that. And yeah, I'm 27. I have to think about it sometimes because I forget. And yeah, just living life. But it's nice to meet everybody, except for Candace, of
Yes.
course. I know.
Well, thank you, Artro, for joining the show. Yes, me and her used to work together, and she is my boo, my work boo. So now we have, let me unmute you. We have Chef Hana representing TFG, the Fault Group, Foodgasm. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shahana. I do have a catering company. I also work full time as a manager of sales at Blue Cross and launched my seasoning line. And I'm actually really happy just to be a guest tonight. So I hope everyone's enjoying.
Thank you for joining, Hana, Chef Hana, Shahana. I like calling you
All
Hana.
those titles.
All right. So now we will introduce my bestie, my sister from another Mister. We will introduce Kanea. We go way back, Tuskegee University, class of 2007 and 2008. Let's represent. Go ahead, Kanea.
Yeah, yeah. Hey y'all, I'm Kanea. As you know, graduated from Tuskegee in 2008. I am a new mom again. So yeah, I'm currently on wonderful maternity leave, and so I'm just here to have fun and talk about some great topics, and bring us all together while we're still in this quarantine, and we can't really go out and do much. So just trying to have some fun.
Yes. Thank you, Kanea. And hey, Jeopardy, another Tuskegee student watching TU, you know.
You know.
And I know our trail went to Clark, and she's gone to a couple of schools, but I know that she went to Clark. So HBCUs, stand up, Black Women United. I like everything Black. So before we
Y'all,
get started,
y'all know I ain't go to HBCU.
where'd you go,
I went to Temple.
girl?
Oh, Temple.
Well, you
Yes,
are
in
you
Philly.
are honorary HBCU member, so we're gonna make you honorary HBCU. So before we get started, though, I just want to shout out I have a couple of friends, but I'm gonna shout out one today, Malkia Luxe. Make sure I don't know if y'all can see it. Make sure you follow her product. She has body butter and also body scrub, and I've used her lip gloss tonight. But she is someone that I cherish. We're both from Wisconsin. Wisconsin girls. There are Black people in Wisconsin. So make sure you follow her. Make sure you follow her. I'm gonna put her information in the description. Her product is the bomb. I love it. Black owned businesses, Black women. That's what we do all day. So yes. So I'm gonna keep it going. And sorry if I move so slow. I'm gonna unmute the ladies. But our first topic is J Lo basically call herself, I'm gonna mute the ladies. She called herself a black woman from the Bronx. In our trail, I'm gonna mute you just for a second. But she called herself a black woman from the Bronx. First of all, well, you know what? I'm gonna put up the actual lyrics that she said. It was in a song called "Lonely with Some Woman," but basically, let me put my logo back up there. Basically, I don't speak Spanish, but she says "Siempre serás tu negrita del Bronx." So that translates to "I will always be a little black girl from the Bronx." So I'm gonna start with you, Kanea. I'm gonna start with you, Kanea, because clearly J Lo has lost. She's lost her goddamn mind. But I'll start with you.
She has done this before, and so I'm not sure if she tries to do this to keep her little self relevant when things are slow for her in her life. But she has done this before when she said Bronx girl magic tried to, take away from the black girl magic that we have going on, our slogan. And so I'm not really sure why she's not learning her lesson. She probably really doesn't care. Honestly, I don't even think she wants to be black. She's just trying to appropriate and make money when it's good for her.
Exactly. I'm gonna go to Shahana now. So here you go, Shahana.
My problem is she's only black when it's convenient, and I have a big problem with it. Like you're never black until it's so now that the Black Lives Matter movement, everything is actually really stronger. The attention is off you, and you just have to do something to try to stay relevant at the moment, as she have done for many years. And I'm over it. Like everyone really just decides when they want to be black, but black is not something that you could just take off, put on when it's convenient. So that's my whole issue. Like, no, you're not. You stay as J Lo from the Bronx, Jenny from the Bronx, whoever. Black from the Bronx, you are not. You never said it before. There's no point in saying it now.
Exactly. So I'm gonna go to our trail and hey Chris, thanks for watching. Okay, so our trail, your thoughts.
Hey, yeah, I mean, I share the same sentiments with everybody else. I will say, so when I first heard it, I kind of looked into like colorism and like just how they talk about color in their community. And so I saw a lot of Hispanic people and people I knew saying like, well, what it means, she doesn't literally mean she's a black girl. She means she's a brown girl. But where? Where is J-Lo? I don't consider, I mean, J-Lo, you have your, just like in our community, you have your lighter skin Puerto Ricans, darker skin. She's not darker skinned in any way. I mean, like Shahana said, J-Lo has played many, just her movie roles where she can switch from, being J-Lo from the Bronx to Made in Manhattan where you're like super light. So that still doesn't fit you. So that excuse, it just doesn't really work. Like, no, you can't just, it's not a costume. We're black every day. So
every day.
Yeah.
Thank you. And hey Kiana, and my sentiments are the same. Who was it that sang what's the song with Sherelle? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. What's the guy's name? It's a guy that sang with her. I cannot remember. Alexander O'Neal. If you watch his unsung, he says Prince was black when it was convenient for him. But we as black women and as women of color have to be black all the time. So J-Lo, first of all, J-Lo is straight up disrespectful. Like, don't tell me you're a little black girl from the Bronx. I don't care if you're brown or whatever, because you're not brown either. You're white. You're white. You play white characters in movies. So are you trying to take our shine because right now you weren't accepted for the what does she call her? The brown girl magic or Bronx girl magic, whatever she called her.
Yeah.
So yeah, because that wasn't accepted, now you're calling yourself a black person. You're pandering to black people and you're wanting that shine or wanting that attention. Like, I understand. If I'll just say this. Yes, Chris, she is Puerto Rican. Thank you. So I'll say this. If J-Lo would have kept it real and just been the Puerto Rican fly girl that was on In Living Color, because yes, I remember In Living Color, I would have respected her more. So it's like, why do you have to try to be me? Why, when it's convenient for you? Because you don't know the struggle that we have. You don't know how we're constantly disrespected by black men. We're not protected by black men, but yet you want to call yourself what I am, and because you think it's a trend right now. So those are my thoughts on that. and not to say, and let me just say this right now. We are not angry black women, but I'm a woman that calls it like I see it. I'm pulling her card. I'm pulling her to the carpet.
Yes.
She should not have called herself a little black or little black girl from the Bronx, because she didn't say brown. It didn't translate as brown. She said negrito,
Yep.
which is black. Black girl from the Bronx.
Little black girl.
Thank you. So I don't like it. And then also I don't like, it came out that she was like Ashanti has sang all her songs. That's really Ashanti on the songs.
Ain't
I'll
it
drink
funny?
to that.
Ashanti even wrote "Ain't It Funny."
Mm-hmm. And it should have been hers.
It's
like
funny.
I would have, if it was Ashanti, I would have loved it because I was a fan of Ashanti. Foolish all day. We love that album.
Mm-hmm.
But you notice in the video when she had the hat low and everything, Ashanti did that in Foolish. She took the whole look from Foolish and had it in Ain't It Funny. Mm-hmm. That's why I need Ja Rule. And he went on up in there.
Thank you. You are exactly correct.
I was a huge Ja Rule fan back in the day. Huge.
So was I. What was the girl that was with him?
Every album of Ja Rule.
What was the girl that was with him, Kanea? You remember the girl?
With who?
With Ja Rule. There was another girl that was with him on Put It On Me. I think that's the name of the song.
Christina Milian.
No, well, not Christina Milian. This was a girl that was rapping.
Vita.
Yes, Vita.
Telling the real age.
Vita. Do you remember Vita?
Oh, the little short brown skin girl. Oh, yes. She had bars.
she did.
Brown skin chicks represented.
Yeah.
Then he had Charlie Baltimore too.
Yeah, I don't like Charlie Baltimore because she went against Little Kim. That's what it seemed like. And she went against Faith. And Jeopardy says if she wants to be black, let her be black cool. Now put your money where your mouth is and help us fight the good fight if you black. She ain't trying to help because just in 2016.
Yep.
In 2016, she was talking about all lives matter. So
and then you have to, even if you just think about it. I mean, the fact I think can't be overlooked that she's, in my opinion, purposely said it in Spanish. She's never said that in English before because you would have got dragged. So you said it in Spanish, thinking that we would probably just not hear it, like it would just float on by. But no, like we know Spanish too.
We caught that. Exactly. We caught that. It's a lot of Afro Latinas out there, so we caught that.
Right.
My dad's mom is Dominican.
Mm-hmm.
See,
his dad is black, but my grandmom is Dominican.
See, so exactly, it's a lot of Afro Latinas. Yeah, and it's not even. And this is the thing. Latin America has painted this picture that Latinos are white. But no, Latinos are people of color. And so it's gonna come out. We've had our little, I don't know what happened to Hannah, but we've had our time of representing Black America, but it's gonna come with Afro Latina as well, where we will be represented as well, and we will be respected as well, because Latin America is not just white. I'll say that.
Right. Yep.
Yep.
True.
And Chris said we have to blame Diddy too because he gave her the green light. Yeah, you know what? I don't even take Diddy seriously because like my question is, do he even like women?
No. No. But that's the topic for another day.
Yes, we will have to talk about that because there's some stuff that's come out about him through Jaguar, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we will have to talk about him another day. What you say, Hannah?
I said Philly's own Jaguar, right?
Yes. A lot of people don't remember her, but she did Song Cry with Jay-Z. Renee, I know you remember.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And if you listen to
with the Roots.
Exactly. And MTV Unplugged, she was on there with Jay-Z. Like she was trying to be with the Roots. She sang backup for a lot of people, and she was just as popular as Jill Scott back in the day. But Jill Scott took off.
Yeah.
So now that brings us to our next topic, which is colorism. So this is a tough topic. I know for this first show, I chose like some serious stuff, but I really wanted to talk about, represent Black women because I have 3 other beautiful Black women on this show. And I want to talk about colorism because it is an issue in our community. But what's funny to me is when you look attractive, colorism is out the window. And so I have 3 attractive women, and I want to know what they've experienced with colorism because they're attractive. So, and that's the thing, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. But I just need to know. So I'm gonna start with our trail.
Oh, geez. I mean, it's tough because it's one of those things that has so many layers to it, you know, and then you don't want to, it's just a lot to it. I know me personally, as somebody, I wouldn't say I'm like light skin, but to a lot of other people, they would probably consider me light skin. So, you know, that's another subject. I don't really want to dwell on that. When I think colorism, I think of the dark skinned women that I know and who I grew up with, because I know their experience is totally different from anything I would have experienced. With that being said, I am actually, my brother, I have 5, I come from 5 brothers and sisters. So out of all of us, 3 of us are lighter skinned. So I grew up seeing differences in how we were treated. So I was very aware of that at a young age. And that's probably why I'm a little sensitive to it, because I've seen it. I've been in spaces where, sorry, my phone, where my sister, who's darker skinned than me, people would say, oh, you're so pretty, talking to me. And my mom would interrupt and say, both of my daughters are beautiful. And to me, I'm a little girl and I'm sitting there. I love my sister. I think my sister is the most gorgeous. I want to be just like her. So that shocked me. I remember that vividly. Like, that's something that always kind of stuck with me, just growing up and seeing the difference between how people were treated. So I would say that, of course, I wouldn't have too many, just being honest, I wouldn't have too many experiences that I think would directly relate to colorism, but I've definitely been around it and seen it. I think my experiences are a little different, so I don't even know what that would be considered.
Okay, well, thank you for that, Artrell, because I after everyone talks, I'm going to talk, and my experience is similar to yours. So I'm going to let Kanea go ahead. So go ahead, Kanea.
So I grew up in Baltimore, and then I transitioned to the South, Alabama, for college. In terms of, I'm actually proud to say, because there's one half of my mother's side of the family that they're very fair skinned. And then you have some people that are, medium brown skin. And then like myself and my sister, my mom, my granddad, we're darker complexion. So, but we haven't, in my family, there isn't any colorism at all. Nobody is judged. Nobody, like my grandmother is very fair skinned. Her mom is actually mixed. So, and then we are descendants, like direct descendants of Thomas Jefferson. So, in the household, like in everyone's household, my grandmother's sister, even stories I'm hearing from when they were growing up, they all pretty much had the same responsibilities. They grew up with very strict parents. The parents were very they probably could pass for white, honestly. My great grandmother and her children, half of her children. So we haven't experienced that at all in Alabama. I have not experienced any colorism in the workplace. And that's not to say that it's not happening, because I sympathize with all of those stories because, from my complexion, it definitely, I've heard of stories that it happens too. My daughter is actually lighter than me, and then my son is actually darker than us. And so it's for her, she would even question. She said, I don't have any baby pictures. And it seems like she was questioning if I was actually her mother. And so, yes, she used to say, I don't have any baby pictures, things like that. And she made this comment probably last year and said, I'm the lightest one in the family. And because in the house, she is the lightest one. She's like almost your complexion, Candace. And so,
yeah, I'm her auntie, Candace. Just let her know.
Yeah, so it's like how do you and I don't want to say it, how they say reverse racism? or you could say reverse colorism and things like that. But my example, in my experience, it seems like people who are lighter complexion feel a complex because they're around a whole bunch of people who are darker complexion. So they might feel like how my daughter was feeling. Like, why am I the lightest one? Am I, a part of the family and things like that? So I had to explain to her. I said, well, my grandmother is lighter than you. So, and you get it from that side of the family. And, we all can make a whole bunch of different complexions and things like that to make her feel, that she is actually in this family. And so, but yeah, I deeply sympathize with people who have dealt with that, especially in the home growing up, because it affects, to me, I feel like it affects generations, how they treat their children, how they treat their grandchildren, how the children grow up treating even other siblings. So I think that is I think that I appreciate that it's coming to light more. Like in some of the videos you see the main girl in the video is actually a darker complexion woman with an afro or with like really really curly hair, rather than back in the day they will always highlight a lighter complexion woman with the straight hair. And so it's just that in having shows like this, we are getting our voices out there. Everybody is advocating for everyone, because at the end of the day, we all come from a black woman, whether the black woman is lighter complexion, whether she's darker complexion. If you have a woman of darker complexion, she can birth a lighter child the way that I did, and vice versa. And so I appreciate the fact that we're making this come to light, and it's starting to show actual in the media as well.
Well, thank you, Kanea. I have a lot to say about that. I'm I'm gonna let Hannah talk. Our Afro Latina. So, Hannah, go ahead.
Like when I say I know colorism is big because growing up in Philly, people like when I was older, people would say like shocked, like, "Oh, you're pretty to be dark skinned." Like, what does that mean? Like, I didn't understand that, and for someone to say that, it's just baffling that someone can actually just open their mouth and say, like, it's a shocker if a dark skinned person isn't looking a certain way. My sisters and I, we are all different shades, like all different shades, and it's just because of our parents. So it's nothing that we can help. It's just that how our parents are. So I mean, I'm not going to say it was a huge thing, but I've heard certain things, or I've seen the media where they portray that light skinned women are sometimes better than darker women, or how we are quick to say outside races don't accept black people, but then within our own race, we have people that don't accept dark skinned women. We have rappers and stuff that promotes not accepting dark skinned women at first, and now they're saying not even accepting black women. So, I mean, I've heard it all. I've been heard my name for a long time. They said, "Hey, chocolate." Like, that's not my name. It's not on my birth certificate. It's nowhere on me. But that was just the name to scream out. And it just like, that's not my name. I'm pretty sure other women don't get called, a different complexion. They're yelling out, even though never mind in Philly, they were yelling, "Hey, light skin." So that's just must be a Philly thing. But it's like, I feel like when we want to deal with other races, sometimes we need to start with our own race and see what are we doing to our own people and how we're trying to separate. Because I feel like all women, all black people come in different shades. We weren't. That's why we can birth different shades. We can have albino. We can birth a redhead. We can birth. Africa, they had villages with blonde hair and blue eyes. Like, it's just something that we can do as black people. So for us to get upset that we're all coming more than one shade of black makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree. So these are my thoughts. So I've experienced colorism in different aspects of my life. In my own family, it plays an issue. I won't talk too much on it because I have family members that follow me, and I know hearing some of this might take them by surprise. But that was a issue in my family. So Kanea, I will say this: when we went to Tuskegee, you would say things like, "Oh, they only talk to you because you was lighter than me." So it's like I experienced that, and I'll say this with colorism, I feel like we are all beautiful. With light skinned women, because there's been times our trail, me and you are very close in complexion. I've had people that we've worked with say, "Oh, you and our trail is a lighter version of you," and this, that, and the other. But I really feel like that was a way for Black people to separate themselves from each other, to be closer to white people, and feel like they were doing something. And I just hate that it's an issue in our community. I hate that we down all our shades, because we are beautiful in all our shades. Like eh, white people, and I hate to say this. One, I don't hate to say it. White people emulate us. Other races emulate us. Prime example: J-Lo trying to say she's a Black girl from the Bronx. So we are beautiful in every shade that we come in. And for someone to say you're beautiful for a dark skinned girl is ridiculous to me, because you're beautiful in your own right, regardless of your skin color. So I'll just say this. Let me go to the comments though, actually, before I finish my thought. So I do want to talk about Chris's comment. She said, as a milk chocolate woman, I actually never even noticed or heavily experienced it. I think having a certain level of confidence has something to do with it. I also think lighter skinned women struggle with it more than darker skinned women. I don't know if lighter skinned women struggle with it, because I'll say this: if you're light skinned, for some reason in our community, they think you're automatically fine. And I think that's just ridiculous to me. I think, as let me unmute you, can as well. I think we are women regardless, and we come in different shapes, sizes, colors, and features, because there's featureism too, if you guys haven't noticed. And so
Yep.
I've experienced colorism in my own family. I experienced it with you, Kanea, because I used to wonder, like, why do you think that just because I'm light skinned people are talking to her? I'm not even light skinned. Just because I'm a shade just because I'm a shade lighter than you, because I don't consider myself a light skinned woman. I consider myself a woman of color. I consider myself a brown skinned woman, actually. But I've experienced it, and it's sad that we have to be separated by our color. But Chris said she never actually dealt with it. But I know, and Chris, not to bring this up, we did deal with it, boo. When we went out one night to a club, you was arguing with this guy about talking to women, and he said he didn't like Black women, and he didn't like dark skinned Black women, and we experienced it with another guy that we worked with that only dated Hispanic women. So we experienced it. Yeah. I'm gonna go to Kiana's comment. She said dark skinned women always go makeup shade color too high, and lighter skinned women always over cake. At the end of the day, everyone looks like a ghost with a messed up light skin makeup. So I have on makeup. Do I look like a goddamn ghost?
No, I barely wear makeup.
Aren't you? Now you wore makeup before, and I love your makeup.
When we go out, yeah.
I love your makeup, and I try to copy you in your highlights. And no, Shahana, you do not look like a ghost.
You know. Give a little Casper off over here. Let me know.
No, I
look like a ghost.
No, you don't.
No.
Makeup companies, they don't make shades for us, so we have to go with what we can choose from what they make. So
I do use Fenty now, so I'm happy that they do have a darker color, because that is actually another hard.
Yeah, that's what I have on as well. Fenty. I actually used to work for Lancome used to be my favorite until Fenty came out. But yeah, I used to work at the Lancome counter, and they had really nice shades as well for a lot of complexion.
For Black women.
I used to wear MAC before Fenty. Then I was I'm going to Fenty.
That's what I have on now. I have on MAC. I have on MAC, and then I have on store-bought makeup. So I think it's CoverGirl. I did my highlights in CoverGirl, but my base is in MAC. So I like it all. It is hard sometimes to find a color. I'm gonna try Fenty, but she is just so expensive. I'm sorry, I'm cheap.
I don't
It
think
lasts.
so.
It lasts a long
It's
time.
like $30.
It's about the same
It's
as
the
Mac.
same price
Yeah.
as Mac.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
So
well,
Candace, I apologize. I was just joking. You know, I have the dark sense of humor. But yes, I apologize. I didn't know that,
yeah,
you know,
it
that
affected me all
I'm
these
sorry.
years. And me and Kanea have known each other almost 20 years, and that affected me. I was like, God damn.
I'm sorry. I do remember saying that a lot. I'm sorry. It was a terrible, terrible joke.
You know what though?
No, but
I realize like it might be a joke sometimes, but like my fiance, he's light skinned. I didn't know he was that light when we first met. I was like, I thought you were darker, but it was winter. But
Mhm.
so sometimes I'm like, look at you. But we like joke, and I used to realize when I say certain light skinned jokes, it was offensive to him because when he was younger, you know, people said that, but I was joking, not realizing like, wow, that's probably how I feel. Like that was really being
Yeah.
a jerk trying to joke. So I don't
And
think sometimes we realize that how it affects because what's happening before we knew that person.
yeah, you just never know. And it's so hard in our community because at times, like say me and our trail would be considered a dark skinned woman as well.
Mhm.
So we're just shades of all different colors, but I know to y'all because I've worked at jobs where people be like, "Oh, this light skinned girl got this light skinned girl got that." But to me, a truly light skin or high yellow, and I know they find this offensive at times when you say high yellow, but a high yellow person is somebody like Drea. That's
Mhm.
a light skinned person to me. So me going to Tuskegee and being there, I consider myself a black, brown skinned, beautiful black girl. So my roommate, my best friend, was like, "Oh, you got the guy because you was light skinned." I'm like, "Girl, what?" So you know, I accept your apology, Kanae. I do want to get to some of these comments. So Kiana said, "I think color scheme goes with attire, character, hair, etc. Each person determines their body. If you're light skinned with bushy hair, you are characterized." Let me put on my glasses. You're characterized different than light skinned women with straight hair, and that's true because Tatiana Ali. Even though Tatiana Ali is a beautiful brown skinned woman, for some reason she was on the special for light girls, which I thought was funny. So it's like if you have good hair, so you all of a sudden automatically light skin. That just doesn't make any sense to me. And
Yeah.
then Chris said, but I don't know, Chris, you're gonna have to expound on that. But and then Kiana said, "No, y'all don't look like ghosts. I'm saying what Candace said about the makeup companies not catering to darker shades. I guess it's more for photo video purposes." And I agree. They don't have a variety of makeup for black women. They don't. They got all these shades for white women, and it's like white women to me is one color. Like,
Mhm. And then I think too with our community, there's so many variations. It's not just light brown. It even goes into you have a red undertone, a yellow. It's so
Yes.
different. So it's like we need to. That's why Fenty is great because she's a woman of color, so she knows what to kind of cater to. So yeah, I think it's only going to get better, and more of us are going to start creating makeup lines of different. I mean, we see it all the time. So
Yeah.
exactly. Now, Chris said, when I think of colorism, I think of feeling bad, sad, or inferior to people of different shades. So when I say I haven't experienced it, I mean I've never had those feelings towards a woman lighter than me or a man wanting to date me because I'm darker. Laugh aloud. Well, I've experienced colorism. Black men, it's like as black. I'll just say this: as black women, of course, we love each other regardless. We're gonna love each other any shade it is. But with a black man, they have preferences. They say they like a light skinned woman or they like a dark skinned woman, and it's like, why can't you just like black women? Period. So that's my thoughts on that. And Chris said, "See, lighter women feel it more than dark women." Oh,
I'm curious what she means by that.
yeah. Chris, explain that. Octavia said, "Hi, hi, Octavius."
My
Octavius
husband.
Moss. And man's husband. And Kiana said, "What are y'all thoughts about dating the different shade? Like only attracted to light skinned guys or dark skinned guys? I feel like light skinned guys don't have no street sense." No offense, Kennard. Wait,
What?
whoa. You mean
I
My
was
man
gonna
like
say
he got
something
streets.
about that. Like, you know,
so?
the joke the joke about the light skinned men,
Mm-hmm.
they're soft, or when they pose in the camera, they pose like this, all this other stuff. And I mean, I wonder, does it hurt their feelings? I don't know.
When
So
I think of the extra light skinned man, I think of like El DeBarge, like hi,
Not
y'all.
the barge. All right.
I think it does hurt their
You
feelings.
know what though? I will say I do be playing them because like sometimes I really thought not when I first met my fiance, but I thought that like he probably wasn't like little rough because he's like real calm and cool until he got angry and I was like, oh, you a little hard. Like I was shocked. Like, oh wait, I had you I misread you all the way. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But I'm not gonna lie, in my mind I had grew up hearing that light skinned men are a little softer.
I don't know what my sister's talking about, but because like my uncle is very, very light, and my mother's brother, and then my grandfather, my grandmother's ex-husband was very light as well, and he was in the military, and it's like I don't know, they don't seem weak to me. It's just I just think those are just stereotypes that somebody made up to be funny, I guess. When it comes to the men. But back to what Candace was saying about the preferences, like when it comes, we always have our backs and things like that. But you might have those select few women who, purposely try to lighten their skin. Oh, I used to work for Victoria's Secret. I had this lady come in, and she was from Nigeria. And I know that I've heard a lot of stories about women in Africa who really it's like a huge fad to lighten their skin, like all over. But she came in and she was looking for some skin lightener and things like that. And so I told her, we don't have that. You gotta go to Macy's or something like that. But the way that she was asking, she was like, "Hey, I'm coming in. I'm trying to get something for my sister to send back home. She really wants to lighten her skin and things like that." And so that's what a little bit why I was saying, like, I know it exists, and those roots are like deep, and it's. I wish I could come across and experience that, secondhand, so I can voice my opinion and say, "Hey, that's not what we're going to do in front of me," or something like that, because I don't like it. Just point blank period. I think it's ignorant. And back to what Candace was saying about the guys, why can't you just love Black women in general? Why do you have to have like this strict preference? Oh, I like this. Oh, I like that. Oh, I like chicken. Oh, I like steak. I'm like, come on, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Well, I do have a lot to say about that. So my preference, because I have a preference as well. I like dark skinned men. And so even though I like dark skinned men, every man that I've been serious with has been light skinned. And I can say this about my husband. Like, my husband may be considered quote unquote light skinned, but he's still a man. He's still I feel protected. So I don't think it has anything to do with his color. Exactly, Hannah. And I feel like your fiance looks like Ghost from
Everybody's call him Ghost. Everyone calls him that.
So I can say all day that I have a preference, and the only reason why I had that preference is because my grandfather on my mother's side is a dark skinned man. So we as women sometimes try to get with people that we see as a father figure. Now, my actual father is a light skinned guy, and he was not in my life. So my father figure was my grandfather. So I looked for men that looked like my grandfather. So it had nothing to do with who can protect me. It was more I was looking for someone that looked like my grandfather because that was my father figure. So that's all I have to say on that. As for, I know, Chris, I wanted to read her comment. She said, "What I mean is I rarely hear darker skinned women say they want to be lighter. I more often hear lighter women wanting to be darker or not feeling like they belong. Well, men too. I've seen it many times with my own two eyes, friends and family. I'll say this: I don't feel like I'm not here for light skin tears because I think that's just some bullshit.
It's
Well,
real. Remember, I was
damn.
telling you what Patience was saying. She was like, "I'm
Okay,
the only light skinned person and stuff
I'll
like
say
that."
this. Me and Patience are close in color, and Patience is still a woman of color. So she's
Yeah.
not gonna have to deal with what a high yellow person would deal with. But I feel like they're still privileged like white people. And I guess I'm just not here for it. And I know Patience and I can identify with her. And if you want me to talk to her, I can. Because I know growing up, people it's gonna be it's a weird space to be in because people like me and Patience, we are in the middle. So somebody
Mhm.
that is darker than us is going to consider us light skinned. Somebody that is lighter than us is going to consider us darker skinned. So it's like, where do we go? Why does it have to even be about colorism? Why does it have
Remember? Oh, sorry. Remember that? Remember where did that paper bag test come from? Did
black
that?
folks? Black folks made that.
But did it like where? Well, we know that it actually started from slavery, and then you have working the fields if you're darker and things
No,
like that.
and I'm gonna tell you this, Kanea, with that whole house Negro and field Negro, when you look at black people as a whole, it didn't matter what color you were because a slave is a slave. So we had house Negroes as like darker than you, Kanea, in the house because
Right.
that's what was there. So it had. I feel like this, even though white people tried to put in our heads that lighter was better, we created that after we were freed as slaves because we started that brown paper bag test.
Yep.
Oh, Kennard is talking to me now. Come on. Oh, he don't want to come on. It was it was in institutions like sororities and fraternities and even churches. So it was, think about Kadea, Booker T. Washington. He had the talented 10 or the so-called people that were the select few to represent the black community. Those were black people doing that because in their mind they felt like if we were lighter and if we looked closer to them, we would be accepted. And so W.E.B. Du Bois, who had a similar plan to Booker T. Washington, felt like, no, that is not how it goes. We don't need this elite black folks to represent the black community. And what people don't know about Booker T. Washington, even though he founded Tuskegee University, he wanted us to be farmers, teachers, and just servants to them versus doctors and scientists. So that is my issue with Booker T. Washington. And it was all based off of colorism. The one thing I will give to him, when you look back at Tulsa in the Black Wall Street, Booker T. Washington did name Tulsa. So I salute him for that. But there are some things that I don't agree with Booker T. Washington for. But we can go to the comments. And I know I'm like all over the place. we gonna move from colorism. But Chris said, y'all asked me what I meant. They don't feel the privilege if it feels like a burden to many lighter people. Now this is new to me because down like up north, well I'll say down south, it seems like light skinned people do feel privileged. But what are y'all thoughts on that?
In Philly too.
Exactly.
Like a
And the black
lot of
community,
lighter
because
skinned women in Philadelphia feel as though they're way better than dark skinned women, especially where I grew up. Like I grew up, I'm in a white neighborhood. I'll be honest. Um, However, people, it's like it's a shocker in Philadelphia. They feel like lighter skinned women should have grew up in a neighborhood and not you. But I was blessed to have parents who, had money at that time. So, or still do. I ain't gonna say at that time. But I was just blessed to grow up in a household that I was able to, live a certain way. And it's in Philly, a lot of people are shocked at where you come from. Like when I would talk a certain way, they would say, "Where are you from? Are you from here?" Yes, I'm from Philadelphia. Oh, no one calls it Philadelphia. We call it Philly. And I'm like, okay. So now I have to deal with this as well.
well,
So
what's funny, Shahana Kanea knew you were from Philly.
Yep, from
you
your
did
accent. I sure
that
did.
North accent. They said
Yep.
we have it.
Yeah. Like Jill Scott's waiting for the 54.
As soon
This
as
is
we
one
get
of her
angry though,
songs.
everything come out. Everything.
But yes, and I knew Artro was from the East Coast. I realized you were from Pittsburgh. I don't know why I thought you were from
It's
Boston.
Instead of a confidence,
it's funny
though.
because you. It's funny though because Candace has always done that. Like ever since she'll be like, "Oh yeah, you're from Massachusetts, right?" And like, no, Candace. No, but I wanted to speak to that. That's kind of what I meant a little earlier when I said it's kind of layered, because I know I have been in experiences where I've been kind of stereotyped. And again, like Candace, I don't consider myself light skinned because just that's not what I consider. But people have said that.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been in situations where I've been stereotyped, like, oh, you've never been through nothing. Oh, your life isn't hard. Like, you don't know me. Like, how can you say that? But the reason I said earlier, I think it's different is because I think that comes from something. It comes from you feeling a way about how you're treated. So I don't consider that colorism. I consider that more of a byproduct of colorism. But I don't consider that part color. I know some people do, but just me, I don't think so.
Yeah, I definitely agree, Artrell. Yes, and like she said, she getting with us, we're not necessarily considered light skinned, but people that are darker than us consider us light skinned. And yes, when we go to white America, at times, I will say this, our experience may be a little different because they are a little bit more accepting of us. But when it comes to an actual light-skinned person or a high yellow person, we're put into the category like everybody else. We are a Black American.
Mm-hmm.
so and it's and I feel like for my own experience, it's always us that does it. Because white America, regardless of your shade, is gonna view you as a Black person. It don't even matter. So it's us that creates this separation.
In the workplace, though, you can sometimes see it. Like we separate sometimes in the workplace you separate yourself for no reason. Or if you decide to have with someone else, like the moment you get a person, oh, what you over there? Well, you have to have a white friend now. Like it's everything is separated sometimes in the workplace. And you never walk in a room, you the only Black person there, you see another person, they quick to be like, hey, like
yeah.
Okay, I just walked in. Let me take my jacket off, greet the room. But it's like it happens so often, and we are quick. I mean, it's racism. It's a heavy, especially now I live in North Carolina. I mean, PA is very racist, but I see it not in my county, but I see it, and I do see it a lot. So I'm not saying it's that, but we are quick to say other people are doing it when we separate ourselves off the back. Even as kids, we'll see a certain, like we call it quote unquote good hair. We come up with that. That's not nothing that we came up with the good hair. Like, so hair growing out your scalp isn't good hair. As long as it's straight, as long as it's long. And my daughter hair comes right here. And she said, she's like, oh, I have really good hair. Like, you're 8. How do you know that? Like, who told you this?
Exactly.
I mean,
Like 8 years
sad.
old. My daughter told that to me.
It's sad because it all comes from that racism, though. Like, if we wouldn't think like that if it wasn't for, back in the day when, you saw the mixed people or the white people or the lighter skinned people getting advantages. So if your daughter got a little wave to her hair, it's like, oh, she has good hair. Like, so that trickled down, unfortunately. I know something that always made me cringe was like every time you have a kid, I know in the Black community, it's like, oh, look at her ears. Oh, they're gonna be light skinned.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So
I can speak to that because I have 2 daughters, and I have one daughter that is very light, and we didn't know she was going to be light, but she just turned out light. And then my second daughter is browner, and so it's like now, like my sister, and it pisses me off though. I don't know why it pisses me off, but she calls her the chocolate girl, and my daughter. First of all, I hate for them to be referred to each other with color. I just want them to be my daughters. And so I see them both the same, but it's like Black people, period, for some reason always look for this separation in color. And so with my lighter daughter, with my husband, they tend to think her mother is white. With my browner daughter, they know that we're both like she's somewhere in between me and you on our trail, or me and you our trail. My liquor's talking now, but she's somewhere in around our complexion. Oh, my husband said Barack Obama's kid, so it is like a Sasha Malia type of situation. So I wish people would accept Black women and Black people in general for all shades. I want you guys to give your final thoughts on colorism, and we'll move to the next topic. So I don't know. Did y'all have anything else to say about that?
No, I think we touched enough on my behalf. I touched enough on it.
Yep.
Okay, so now let's go to pick-me's. This is another hard topic for me. I don't know if y'all, Kanar, can you close that door, please? I don't know if y'all know what pick-me's
I know
are.
what a pick-me is.
So a pick-me, and I'll say the definition, is a woman that puts down other women in order to be picked by a man. So what are y'all thoughts on pick-me's? And it's a couple of them in TFG. It's this one, liquor. Sorry.
Blame it on the
Yeah. Me and Hannah are a part of TFG, which is the Fault group. I don't know if I said that earlier, but we're part of the Fault group. Make sure you subscribe to Foodgasm, which is TFG. Is it called Foodgasm?
It's Foodgasm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And make sure you subscribe to TFG the media as well. But what are y'all thoughts on pick-me's?
Trifling. Trifling. Very. I feel like if you can make it on your own, do it. If you want that man, go after him. But don't go after that man to put me down.
Thank you.
Like, you can go after, not necessarily mean they're going to want you, but you don't have to put me down to try to build yourself up. Because when you try to build yourself up to put me down, you got to live to that level you put yourself on. And at the end of the day, if it's not going to meet after that first greeting, then what's the point of it?
Thank you. Artrell, do you have any thoughts? I can't hear you, Artrell.
Hello?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Is it staticky?
No, you laughing at Chris Canan.
Yes.
It do sound like you eating Funyuns though, Artrell. Sorry.
It does.
I'm gonna mute all of us and then I'm gonna let you talk.
I don't know what's going on. Okay, I hope it's better. I don't know. I was just saying that I think it stems from low self-esteem. Like maybe feeling like you have to kind of change who you are to fit in with men, or like to get that attention from men. So you want to, it kind of, it's like almost being male chauvinistic, but you're a woman. So you just kind of want to fit in and get that approval almost. I guess that's actually a new term for me. I just learned that like within the last few months. I hadn't heard that before.
Wow, Artrell. You know, the pick-me term has been around for like 2 or 3 years now, but I'm gonna let Kanea talk and then I'm gonna voice my opinion. So go ahead, Kanea.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off of Artrell. I definitely, it deals with low self-esteem, you being insecure, which probably stemmed from, your household if you're a pick-me, and it's unfortunate. It has to be exhausting, honestly. Like your brain is literally, you see one thing and you have to jump in and say, oh hey, blah blah blah. Like in almost every situation, you feel like you have to do that, and it has to be exhausting. I don't know any pick-me's. I don't have any pick-me's in my circle. I haven't come across, any in my lifetime that I can remember because I have selective memory. But that has got to be exhausting to not. I'm an alpha female, so I don't. I don't have those problems like that a pick me would have with the low self-esteem and, you know, things like that. It's unfortunate. I feel sorry for people like that. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, I definitely agree. I echo everybody's thoughts. My husband said he dated a pick me. All I have to say to his chicks is, well, I'm not gonna say it. I was gonna say something. I was gonna be real vulgar, but I'm not gonna be vulgar. But pick-me's, I definitely do not support women putting down other women to be picked by a man. And as a Black woman, I was raised by a single mother, and I know Black men might feel some type of way about this, but I don't give a goddamn. I'm gonna always support Black women. I'm gonna uplift Black women. That's me because I'm a Black woman. So I'm not trying to be picked. I've never tried to be picked in my life. I've been married twice, and I know people look at that as a flaw or whatever, that I've been married twice, but boo, I was able to get 2 husbands, and I could probably get 3. So, I'm secure in who I am, and I don't have to put down no other woman to get what I have. I'm gonna always uplift Black women because I love Black women. That's what raised me. So that's what I have to say to that. Hannah, or do you want to say something? Oh, I gotta unmute you, Hannah. Okay, go ahead. You unmute it.
I said you could say it again. I'm on number 2, but still.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And that's the thing. People try to talk about marriages and all this other stuff. Yes, marriage is a sacred thing, but if you're a Black woman, especially that has been married a few times, I mean, it must be something. We must be doing something right.
It's a reason that, you know, somebody wants to make that commitment.
Mm-hmm.
I would say though, before I used to say this should have been number 1, but I kind of say that number 1 taught me to appreciate whatever this is going to be going in more. So I kind of, first I was like, oh, I was bitter. I was that bitter Black woman. I can 100% admit that I was, because I went through a lot, like more than anyone would know. So I was that woman. However, I realized that maybe if I didn't go through certain things, it wouldn't let me appreciate what's going on now. Yep. So I just think that sometimes we just have to be happy for what we went through in the past to help us build us, make us who we are. Because if everything was just handed to us, then how can we really appreciate anything?
Exactly. And I don't agree with putting us down. Like, Black women, we already don't have we don't have the support of some Black men. I'm not gonna say, oh, your liquor is gone. We don't have the support of some Black men. But I feel like I'm a girl's girl, so I'm gonna support every Black woman I can because that's just me. Like, I love Black women, and I'm not trying to get chose. I'll say that because in the end, I'm already set with who I am. I know I am it. If accept it. If you don't accept it, oh well. I'm moving on because life is too short. But I really feel like Black women need to be uplifted. But I will say this, because I know a lot of Black women like Black girl magic. I'm not a fan of Black girl magic because it puts us to this level of superhuman, and it takes away our feelings of being a person. Yes, we do have magic, and we can do it all, but we are also human. So I'm not gonna say I disagree with Black girl magic, but I'm not one of those that pushes Black girl magic. I push Black girl protection. we need empathy. We have times where we need rest. We cannot do it all, even though we do it all, because I've done it all, but we cannot do it all. So I want to hear y'all thoughts on that, and I'm gonna start with Hannah.
I agree. We do not want to do it all. It's a lot. I work 2 jobs. I am a full-time student trying to get another degree, trying to do my other business, and be a mom, and be, well, not wife yet, but fiance. Like, it's a lot. So at times, yes, we do love each other. We do support each other. But sometimes we just want to come in, lay down, and cut off the day. But we also, I feel like we as Black women, we are expected to do so much. Like, it's a requirement. Like, people are astonished if you can't cook. Like, oh, you're black and you can't cook. What is going on here? Like, everybody don't cook. Everybody not going to go to college. When I told them that if my children choose to work and not go to college, even though it was pushed down my throat, I'm not going to be upset. My family was angry at me, like as if I said I want them to go outside and be drug dealers and hookers. Like that's what you would have thought I was saying. And I'm like, no, like college isn't expected from everyone. And I feel like we in a black community, the younger siblings are forced to know. Like my mom, she's older, but she was the first person in her family to get her degree. Then she went on to get her master's and work for her PhD. And we shouldn't always have to be forced to be the first of something or forced to do certain things as black women. But it's like we have to be this black woman. We have to be the doctor, the lawyer, the psychiatrist, the pediatrician. It's like, oh, you're black, you're a woman, it's you.
Yeah, that's why I don't like the black girl magic, because it creates this subhuman thing and we're still human. And so I understand that they are trying to highlight us as black women and by saying black girl magic, but it puts us on this whole another level with no feelings, no, like just constantly working. And I'm not nobody's mule. I'm not nobody's workhorse. I'm a black woman that has feelings and I need rest. And yes, I can solve it all, but I'm not meant to solve it all. I need help sometimes. So, Kanea, you can speak on that.
That's a new take on the term black girl magic. Like Chris said, I don't care for black girl magic either. Give us a damn break sometimes. Shit. And then Karen White, I'm not your superwoman.
Yes, my song. I'm not the kind of girl that you
can let down and think that everything's
okay. Boy, I am only human. That's the song.
That's it.
Yep. Yeah. So it's like if you're the woman of the house, in my house it's a 2-parent household. So my husband and my three children. And so I get a lot of help from my husband. But there was this one instance when I was pregnant and he was doing all this extra stuff for me because I was 8 months pregnant. And I was like, well, why weren't you doing this before I got pregnant? And he was like, because you always got to be so hard and stuff like that. And so that made me think, you know what? Let me relax a little bit. Let me just sit back. And when I need help, communicate that effectively and just ask for help. You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
And it's okay for us to take that help.
Right. And so, sometimes myself, I'm not going to speak for other people. I do get impatient and say, you know what? I don't feel like waiting on you to, get your mind right to do X, Y, Z and things like that. I'm just going to do it. But lately, because I have so much other stuff on my plate, especially with the new baby, and it's like having a new baby just made me do a 360 of how I want to run my household. I'm just going to fall back. I'm not going to, fuss so much about little stuff. If I have a problem with something, I'm not going to say it vocally because, sometimes I might just, spaz a little bit. But, hormones, we have our hormones in month to month and things like that. But so, I might try to do things a little different. I might like write a nice little note or like send a text message or something like that. If I'm not in a space where I can actually communicate effectively, hey, I need help with this. Can you please help me with that? Without getting all emotional and busting out crying, which is, what I normally sometimes feel like doing, just busting out crying.
And it's okay to cry, because with my husband, I cried. I'd be like, F it. Like I'm human. Like I can't solve it all. Sometimes I need a break. So, Kanea, if you need to cry, cry.
Okay.
And I love Octavius. He is a good helpmate. I will say that. So, you gonna bring him on camera?
Yeah.
Ray Moss, Octavius, we're
He
calling
likes
you
being on
here.
camera, even though he acts shy.
Oh,
Hey,
hey,
hey.
Octavius. I'm gonna tell you this, Ray.
Mm,
I love you for my sister. You are a blessing to us, and I want you to keep taking care of my sister.
will do.
Yeah.
Will do.
Oh,
Will do. Thank you.
oh. So, well, I want to look at some of these comments. Kanara says, strength is communicating when you need help. Yes, we do need help. And Chris said, I was going to call her Kanea. Chris said, asking for help is one of the most powerful things we can do as a strong woman. It's also great for it's also great for your mental health. So, yes, we can do that. I want to go to our trail. I'm going to mute everybody. And I want to go to our trail because she's expecting her third little child, a baby girl. So go ahead, Artrell.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out.
Let me see. Okay, you're muted now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's what I think of, like when I think of kind of what we're talking about, like the black girl magic thing. So specifically for me being a mom, like there are times, especially being home, and I'm sure y'all can relate with this quarantine where I want to scream. I probably do scream. And I'll feel bad, and I'll have to kind of remind myself, even with my kids. Like my kids they're 5 and 2, so they don't know, So I'll have to, even if it's just taking a second to go in the bathroom. I may not be doing anything, but I'll lock myself in there and just breathe because it's just a lot. Like you just need a break sometimes, just being that one person. And I don't know if like a lot of men realize it all the time, but we handle so much just every day that sometimes you do just cry because it's just a lot. And I'm not crazy, but I just need to cry. It's just hard. It gets really hard. So, yeah, I think that taking that away, that is a lot of pressure on us, I feel like. And other races of women don't get that. Like, they're allowed to be feisty and be sad and emotional. We're the only ones, we have to be strong. So, yeah, I think that it's important to kind of remember we're just human, like Candace said.
Thank you, Artrell. I definitely agree. We other races are allowed to be feisty. They're allowed to go off and throw fits. But as a black woman, we don't want to ask how we feel about things. And then for some reason, I don't know why black men feel like they're God's gift to us. Because no, we're God's gift to you. So period. With that being said, I'm gonna go to. I like Hannah. I love your expressions. I'm gonna unmute you. I'm gonna unmute Kanan. I love your expressions. But yes, black women, we should be cherished. We are a jewel. We have feelings like everybody else. We're human just like every other race. So I don't know why they think we're supposed to be their workhorse. I know in slavery they expected us to do whatever, but we ain't slaves no more. So I need to be nurtured just like the white woman is nurtured. I need to be nurtured just like the Asian woman is nurtured. Like and then they want all these special things in the bedroom. If you want those special things, it's gonna take some work.
Well, but
What
you
can
know
I
what
say?
I
Can
can
I say?
say?
Go ahead,
So
Shahana.
I was told, I learned the hard, well, not the hard way, but I had to realize that I was like really strong, like too strong. And then my fiance had to sit there and let me know, like, you have help now. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need to let me be the man. And I
Mm-hmm.
knew he was a man. I knew his position. I knew who he was. But I was just so used to being that strong woman that it didn't click. Like, you have help. You don't have to be strong. Like, I just got back working from home all beginning of the year and everything, even when COVID first started. He was home working and then making sure the kids had their homework done and the school done. And days I would come home, they would look at me like, "Hey, stranger," and I was like, "Oh my Lord," it's like weird. Like he was working from home in his office, but it was like you don't have to do it, because I remember before I would have to come home, I had to do homework, I would have to cook, I would have to do that, and when I had help, I didn't realize like you're not that person you were in your 20s, and you weren't in that past, and you have help now. And I feel like when we go through certain things in our past, when we have something in our present, we don't realize it at times. Sometimes people realize it too late. I mean, we have to be honest. Sometimes people don't realize it during that moment. But I was that woman who didn't realize that you're being too strong. It's okay not to be superwoman. Take the cape off, sit down, and you have help.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I definitely agree, because I had to learn that with my second husband. I had to learn that sometimes it's okay to let him handle the kids. I don't have to do it all, and I'm not always right. And I don't feel like that's being a pick me, but it's being a human. So yes,
And a
so we're
wife.
good. Yes, that thank you, and a wife, because I still have to. It's certain things that I have to do to please him and be that helpmate to him. So, did you guys have anything else you wanted to say on this topic before I go to the next topic? Oh, my husband talking about diaper change. That's what my 3-year-old. She's always like, diaper change. I need to potty train her. So I'm gonna go to our last topic. It's just mainly hot topics of what's going on out there in the media. So I know we talked about J Lo. I don't know how familiar you are with Ryan Henry. On Black Ink Chicago, he admitted to sleeping with his friend's baby mama, and he admitted that. So we can talk a little bit about that, and then Tim Norman. Do you guys watch Sweetie Pies?
I did.
Yes. So Tim Norman is being charged with killing his nephew in a murder for hire, and has not wanted to be on camera because of that. So we can talk a little bit about that. I'll start with Kanea. What are your thoughts on everything?
So I am not following either one of those stories. And Tim Norman, I started following. Like I'm not caught up on the latest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right caught up to the part where he's being charged. But in terms of anything else after that, that's pretty much it. I do think it's unfortunate, and I just it's so many questions. Like, what do you like? Is it that much greed that you had to do this? Like, who do you owe? That's my main question. Like, does he like owe somebody big, like a lot of money, whereas though he had to just jump to drastic measures like that, or is he just greedy? I don't know. Those are my questions. But in terms of the other topic, I'm not really following that one.
The other topic, I saw that on the Shade Room. Well, I stopped following them a couple of days ago because I didn't like that they kept posting Tory Lane, so I just blocked them. But prior to that, I blocked them Friday when I kept seeing him. Wednesday. I was like, so I'm blocking the Shade Room. I don't have time for you. So prior to that, I don't watch Ratchet TV. Oh, I just started watching Real Housewives of Potomac. So I
that's
just
my
came
show.
into Ratchet TV during
Monique
this past month.
and Candace.
Yeah, I'm not that far yet. I'm on season 2. I'm not up there yet, but I'm on season 2, so I'm new to it. But I did see that, and I was trying to figure out. What's weird though? He watches Ratchet TV.
They
And
all
no one
do.
would think it ever. No one would ever think it. Like you would tell, like you watch Ratchet TV, like he watches all of it. So he had me like watching some snippets of the Black Ink. So that's how I knew of that person, but I wasn't really sure because I just saw it up there. So I kind of believed that he was, because the I don't want to say baby mama, I hate that term, but I guess the mother of his child stated, like she tried to justify why she did it. So at this point, I feel like it's true. If
Well,
she,
I'm gonna say this, Hannah. He admitted to it.
oh, I didn't know that. I just saw her
Yeah.
justification. Okay, so they all trifling. Next,
Mm-hmm.
that's real trife. Because it's a lot. I'm gonna keep it PG-13. So it's a lot of penis in this world. Not saying you have to go to it, because I mean we should not all go to every penis that's working the earth. However, it should not be at home. It should not be to the best friend. I don't care how angry and upset you get. You do not slide next door to your neighbor. It doesn't work, and it's creating more harm, because at the end of the day, you're the mother of the child, so your child grows up. And this is not
Mm-hmm.
like it was. We were younger. We weren't recorded for every 5 seconds and everything we did. Everything is on camera now. So what we see now, your children are going to see that, and you have to think about that in the future. So I'm like, I don't understand the point of that whatsoever. The Tim Norman thing, him and his big hips.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you. First of all, he had his whole aura and everything from the first time he set foot on Sweetie Pies was off. And he was already straight out of jail. Wasn't he serving 10 years in jail when he came
Mm-hmm.
on there?
For
You don't just
armed
do 10
robbery.
years for walking down the street. Like, you really committed a hardcore crime. And I don't care what anyone say. You cannot tell me that he didn't set up Andre's dad to be killed. I don't care if he was in jail. I don't care where he was at that
He
time.
he
I still,
was, and I'll say this, Hannah. He was. It looks like about almost 10 years younger than Andre's dad. So
mhm.
that's the only thing about that.
But I still think that he killed. Like, he had a part in it.
He killed Andre.
Oh, I know it. And
That's
my thing
that's
is,
a given.
what on this earth? Well, I worked as a life insurance agent for years and an underwriter when I was at Colonial Penn. So I know for a fact that you can't just, you might can get the policy, but you're not going to cash out the policy.
Exactly. And
It's
the
not
thing is,
happening.
Hannah, I work for New York Life, so to own a policy, you have to have insurable interest. So I'm just
Yes.
wondering, like, how was he able to get this policy? And that's why it didn't pay out, because he wasn't able to show insurable interest.
And now, Miss Robbie, she would have been able to show that, because she was there. That would have been a probable cause.
Mm-hmm.
But because you're the uncle, and I mean, and his dad died, I guess in his mind he felt as though, oh, I need this. But to realize you killed your nephew for nothing, because you still didn't get the money. You still are broke because you have a public defender. Come on,
Yeah, it was.
you're still broke. And I feel like, when you saw people of the past, I mean, we saw black moms do this sometimes, and white moms, because I deal with white moms trying to call my company now, asking for insurance for their 50-year-old son. Like, come on, get off the breast. But it happens that when he was the baby mom said something about abuse, his mom justified it. When, what's her name,
Mm-hmm.
from Jennifer or whatever her name is,
From Basketball Wives.
justification. Now that you realize that he killed somebody a little close to home, oh, now it's just a shocker. But we saw the signs back then. And when you ignore the signs from the beginning and you try to coddle it with a blanket, then what do you expect
Mm-hmm.
once it get this far? Y'all should have nipped that in the bud right then. When you fire him the first time, you shouldn't have gave him no access. He wouldn't have felt entitled, and he wouldn't have probably went this far.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I
Well,
said a
thank
lot.
you. Thank
My
you,
drink done.
Hannah. I'm gonna go to our trail last, and then I'll say my comments. So, our trail, you ready, boo boo?
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to switch between my headphones to try to get rid of that noise. I don't know. With the Tim Norman thing, I thought the same thing. Like when he would always argue with the wife, I always found it odd that they didn't see his attitude. Like, yeah, she was a trip too, but he clearly always had anger issues and like just some type of mental thing going on. So I was saddened by it, but I wasn't surprised, honestly, because I could just tell he had a few screws missing from the few times that I watched. As far as the black ink thing, I mean, that's just disgusting. I mean, we know guys can be trifling, but that's your friend. And I think he was like the kid's goddad, I think I saw.
Yeah,
So
and
that's just too close. That's just, I
his
mean,
friend
not
was
that you should cheat
recovering from
anyway.
cancer. Hmm.
Right. Like you have to be like what kind of person? In both instances, like how do you even think like that? Like it's just sick.
Yes. Oh, you're done. So I see Hannah's response. Yes, Hannah, he was recovering from cancer. I'm gonna give my final thoughts. So with Ryan Henry, he's trifling because he messed with Kat. I think I mentioned this on another show, but he messed with Kat. That was on the show. He messed with a lot of different people. Some of the girls that were on the show, he messed with them while he was with his baby mama, and now I'm not surprised that he messed with his friend's baby mama. He's trifling. Uh, he needs his ego stroke, I guess. Let me drink to that. Um, the whole situation is messed up. His friend was recovering from cancer, and he took advantage of that. So we're gonna move on from Ryan Henry because I'm over talking about him and his little light skin self. What did Chris say? Well, I know of a man who got some girl pregnant while his girlfriend was going through chemo. Yeah, men at times can be trifling. So moving on from that, I want to talk about Tim Norman. So Tim, when I originally watched the show, and I think I said this before in a live that I did with TFG, I felt like their family was bougie. I didn't know they was just as raggedy as me and you are today. So I was shocked to see that they had the drama that we all had, and for him to kill or to do a murder for hire with his nephew, that's sad. Like, how money hungry can you be? But in the end, I mean, hell, his mother sued him. So what can you expect? It's a sad situation. He's going to have his time in court. I don't believe he was responsible for his brother dying, but he is responsible for his nephew. So those are my final thoughts on that. I'm going to unmute all of the ladies so we can say goodbye to you. This was fun. This was very
It
fun.
was really fun.
Yes,
I
and
enjoyed it.
we need to definitely do this again. And I want to thank you all for joining in the candy shop. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Um, I'm gonna have more videos to come, and I may have a special guest coming up soon. So make sure you tune in. Bye, everybody. Ladies, you can say bye.
Bye. I thought I was muted.
Bye.
No, no.